Hey, Patrick.
Hey, Michael J.
So, back from the Pro Tour, are you?
True.
I gotta say, I was overjoyed at some of the outcomes of this Pro Tour. I was just real happy. I was sad that Huey missed the top 8, and I was kind of happy that the Peach Garden Oath did so well, even if they didn't make top 8, but it's hard to be unhappy with some of these appearances in the top 8. Like, real heartwarming for me.
There's some really good feel-good stories.
I'm going to dial it back maybe 10 years for you. I don't know if you probably recall coming up to the New Yorker Hotel, maybe about 10 years ago, for the first and only top 8 Magic Mockvitational alongside John Conrad Kolos, a 2-time U.S. national top 8 competitor, and a bunch of guys who just love who love top 8 Magic. Do you perhaps recall who was the winner of the only top 8 Magic Mockvitational?
Was it Christian Calcano?
It was Christian Calcano. So
I definitely didn't recall, but I was just thinking that Yuya wasn't there.
Yep. So how did you make top? It doesn't matter. Calcano was the winner. I remember. I think it was you. You had an epic battle against John Conrad Kolos, though. But premier top 8 for Christian Calcano. I mean, really awesome emotional moment there, and another feather in the cap of Eric Froelich and Yuya Watanabe, masters always. But what about that Gerry Thompson, Patrick? I think he can quit calling himself a Star City Open end boss.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know when the last time he said all that, but my brother from another mother took down the title, and rightfully so. One of the best who ever did it. It's great seeing him on top, and it's not going to be the end. I mean, he's already just been on a tear.
So happy for Gerry. Like, I just can't. I mean, and there are so many heroes in this top 8, but Clark and Bella asked me, well, who are you going to cheer for? And I'm like, that guy right there with the hat. And they're like, why? I thought you liked that guy. And I'm like, I like a lot of them, but I'm cheering for Gerry. And it was quite a feat.
Yeah, very, very happy for him and all those guys. Lots of awesome names in the top 8 and lots of sweet stories. And how sweet it is. I'm obviously Gerry, awesome, rightfully so. Obviously Yuya, one of the best. Ifro too, one of the best for sure.
Chico's already got his Hall of Fame.
Doesn't matter. I mean, it's still, you should get more top 8s when you're as good as Ifro. I mean, that's just comes with the territory. But Calcano, so much hard work. So happy for him to see it pay off because he's had some close calls. It's nice to see him through the breakthrough. And I don't know, this might be the watershed Calcano moment where suddenly he Owen Turnwald's us, where he goes goes a while without the top 8s, and as soon as he gets a taste,
he breaks through, and
then it's over for Magic. It's nothing but the Christian Calcano factory all the time.
Well, there's so much to talk about. I mean, we can talk about the heroes. We can talk about the 60s and 75s they had in front of them. What do you want to start with? Mono black zombies, black white zombies?
Dealer's choice. We can talk about any zombie deck you want.
I would like to contrast Christian Calcano's mono black zombies and Gerry Thompson's mono black zombies. Just point one thing out to begin with. Last week we were like, hey, we love 4 Liliana's Mastery. I mean, I at least love 4 Liliana's Mastery. Neither of the mono black zombies decks, including the winner, had 4 Liliana's Masteries. I mean, I guess Calcano did, but in the sideboard. Breaking it up.
We like the Royal We. I don't remember advocating the Liliana's Masteries.
I was like, I'm all about 4 Liliana's Masteries, and you can have whatever opinion you had. I think that you agreed. It doesn't matter. We can agree to disagree, I guess, but they definitely disagreed with at least me. We had a twofer in Calcano's deck, and I believe 3 in Gerry's deck, and no 4th in Gerry's sideboard.
Yep, that is true.
They both played 2 Westvale Abbeys in their mana bases, and in controversion to your recommendation of that.
Nah, I still like. To be fair though, If Gerry did it, it was right.
Well, Calcano had exactly the same mana base. So 24 lands, 22 swamps, plus 2 Westville Abbeys, which is about where I said... Remember, we were having this discussion about whether 24 was exactly wrong or not. I guess it's exactly right.
If Gerry did it, it was right. I know I'm helpful as hell, right?
So, these are very straightforward, similar mono black zombies decks to what we've looked at before. The numbers are, at least in the main deck, are pretty tight to what we've seen. You're a slight variation in like Fatal Push versus Liliana's Mastery.
That's always been Gerry's bread and butter is tuning, and this Pro Tour. It's not an accident. If you look, Calcano, Ifro, Yuya, Gerry, these are people that thrive on the existing formats and tuning the decks, right?
Well, 3 or 4 of those guys are grinding masters, right?
I don't even know which one isn't.
All right, fair enough.
This is definitely a grinders Pro Tour, and when Mitgo already solved the format before the tournament started, and it comes down to tuning the last few slots of the metagame.
And we're talking like 2 slots, right? Like in the main deck.
In Calcano's case, I guess he's 1 card different from Gerry, and I think that there's a little bit more variation in the Marvel decks, but this has got to be this is the first Pro Tour in quite a while where the metagame distribution of the Pro Tour is like basically exactly the metagame distribution of the Mitgo winning deck, the Magic the Gathering Online winning decks.
So, I have a question. If you're going to look at the Mono Black Zombies deck as it's currently constructed, let's call Calcano's deck / Gerry's deck, like this is, at least in the main deck, pretty much the default. Is Metallic Mimic more or less the weakest card in the set? Is that fair to say or no?
In the set?
In the 60.
The weakest card in the deck? Oh yeah. Without question. It's only there because it has the special ability of costing 2.
So, if that's the case, both these guys are investing multiple slots in the sideboard for Scrap Heap Scroungers, whether it's 2 or 3, or maybe in a different week could be a different number, maybe 4. Is it just horrible to replace Metallic Mimic with Scrap Heap Scrounger? And I understand it doesn't have the main deck +1/+1 synergy, but I don't know. Just that Metallic Mimic kind of rubs me the wrong way.
Which 2-drop are you going to put in the sideboard so that you have the ability to board up to 10 or 11 2-drops?
Is that the? I assumed that was there mostly for exchanges, not for just increasing the 2-drop density.
Wait, are you going to cut scrap? So are you going to keep Scrap Heap Scrounger in against aggro decks? How are you going to have 8 2-drops against aggro when you're playing against aggro?
All right. So I guess Nick's
on that. No, it could be if you want. You could argue that maybe the removal does it. I don't think so. I don't know. I like Metallic Mimic. I don't love it. I don't really like it. I don't hate it, I guess. I grudgingly accept it. How about that?
Yeah, I think that, most people who are playing this archetype are grudgingly accepting it. I'm just kind of trying to collapse in on the slots so that we can find.
It's not like the sideboard, dude. It's not like the sideboard has good cards anyway.
I think that finding room for Liliana's Mastery might be something that I like. Calcano went up to 4, Gerry didn't.
If Gerry did it, it was right.
Yeah, I think that Gerry might have been right for that tournament. That tournament is now in the past, and there is standard yet to be battled, in Montreal this weekend and moving forward. I can't imagine that the same 75 that Gerry played is going to be the optimal list for Montreal, considering the fact that people know
this is going to be such a great segment of the show to quote after the winning 75 is identical, or 74 to give you enough wiggle room.
All right. If it's only 74, I was right. To quote Patrick Chapin, technically correct is the best kind of correct.
It's the only kind of correct. All the rest you're incorrect about whether it's correct.
Yeah, I'm throwing it out there. Because the other thing is, I haven't played this. I assume you have at least a little experience in this.
Yeah.
The black-white zombies versus mono-black zombies. Is there a heads-up matchup here that one of them is? I mean, is black-white zombies a deck that you play because you like the capability of having white, or is it got an edge in the mirror? Is it behind in the mirror?
So I personally don't abide by the white-black zombies deck. I think that Fennell's list has some very wise things going on, where, for instance, playing 6 planes instead of 0 or 2. I think playing 0 ether hubs instead of any. I think that Fennell's list is really smart. I also think that playing 24 land instead of 22, good call. I also think that Wayward Servant really is the white card of choice, and Binding Mummy, I think that that's actually very, very clever because, and this is something that some of the people we're doing on MitGo a little bit, was moving entirely away from Relentless Dead. Because honestly, Relentless Dead is, well, Metallic Mimic is like the worst card. Relentless Dead is definitely number 2.
Well, it's horrible if you can't cast it, right? Like that guy's double B on turn 2.
It's also aggressively mediocre if you can always cast it.
Well,
it's very dubious in the mono black version. You only play it because you need 2-drops. It's not actually. It's a House of Lies. I get. It's fine. It's fine. It just doesn't really.
It draws fire off of their magma sprays. It gives you it. If your opponent's playing like any kind of a regular strategy where he's trading cards with you instead of trying to go over the top in one direction or another, it certainly has the capability of generating card advantage.
Right, but if Binding Mummy was black, you think that we wouldn't be playing Binding Mummy?
Well, Binding Mummy is insane. The only reason why...
Binding Mummy is better than Relentless Dead and Metallic Mimic. Yeah, that's not saying much.
I think that card is
Wayward
really strong.
Servant is really good.
Okay, wait. Wayward Servant is bananas, but in this strategy, dude, Binding Mummy, your guys always get in.
I wish there was a way to like describe things without hyperbole, because it starts becoming very difficult to track the layers.
Which one is insane? Which one is bananas?
Higher than insane?
It depends on which conversation we're in. Next week they might be reversed. Like, first of all, obviously, Wayward Servant giving you that kind of like reach and racing ability is really powerful. It's an added dimension, especially if you get locked up in the ground. I think that's really cool. But Binding Mummy, you have these huge guys like Diregraph Colossus. Like, you just get in. Getting in is really good.
Yeah, I like that this deck doesn't have Gideon main deck. Gideon Ally of Zendikar is a highly overrated phenomenon.
Wow. How much the world changes with just a few cards being added to Standard. He was the best card in Standard not that long ago, yeah? Close to.
I don't know. It's hard to say it was the best card if they keep banning cards and they never ban it. So, no, I'm not totally sure it was the best card. I do think it's one of the 4 best cards in the 4th best deck in the format.
I mean, I would be like, I think that in this year, Kawhi Leonard was better than any individual player on the Warriors, but the Warriors were a better team overall than the Spurs in the regular season.
No. Steph Curry was definitely a better player than Kawhi Leonard.
We could digress on this for a long time. I think that we should switch back to the other game. I think Binding Mummy is really cool in this deck. I think that one of the things that I think it's special about it in Fennell's deck is he's got 4 Fatal Push. Because of his addition of white, it's harder for him to get BB, so he doesn't have Grasp of Darkness. Binding Mummy kind of fills in for the removal, right? It doesn't take guys off the board, but sometimes when you're using removal...
Well, he's actually got more removal. With 4 Dark Salvation, 4 Fatal Push, and 2 Anguished Unmaking, he actually has more removal than either Calcano or Gerry. The key is that he has only 6 2-drops instead of 8.
Does he have the same number as Calcano, 3, 3, and 4? Am I?
Oh, Calcano. Yeah, Gerry has 5.
Yeah, because Calcano has one more Liliana's and one fewer Liliana's Mastery. Sorry, but yet he has room for 4 Liliana's Mastery. The other thing is he has a 2-color deck, and he has room for 4 Scrap Heap Scrounger in the sideboard, which is more than either of the other 2.
Yeah, well, no. So there's something going on here. So first, part of the reason why he can have less 2-drops in his main deck is because he has Shambling Vent. Some percentage, he makes up for those spots where Calcano and Gerry are relying on playing a 2-drop on 2.
Mm-hmm.
He's playing a Crypt Breaker, or he's playing a Dread Wanderer and a Shambling Vent, or a Fatal Push and a Shambling Vent. He actually has 4 Fatal Pushes, which is more than Gerry or Calcano, to help make for more times where he just plays a 1-drop, a 1-cost card on turn 2 and a Shambling Vent. Additionally, the 4 Scrap Heap Scroungers are more important in his list because he only has 6 2-drops. You need the ability to go up to 10 2-drops. One of the things that happens if you go down to 6, you need 4 on the board. Here we are, Scrap Heap Scrounger.
Yeah, I really underappreciated the importance of just having those 2-drops for curve offense after sideboarding.
You got to be able to.
Sounds like it's really important.
You have to be so. If you don't, so some of the matchups, if you don't, like there's some of the matchups you need to be able to curve out against the reactive decks. If you're playing against control and you just play a card on turn 1, 2, and 3, you're in such better shape. But if you miss a turn, you're just going to be in much worse shape. If you're playing against Teamer, if you don't start out by playing a card on each of the first 3 turns, you're going to be in such worse shape. It's just so brutal. So, I don't know. I think that I agree with a lot of. If I had to play black-white zombies, I think that Fennell's list is a real smart direction to have gone. I also like the Declaration in Stone in the sideboard. I think it's a very clever card for this weekend, a nice piece of tech. It was actually a popular choice among Mardu players who actually were having better advantage, like who were using it against zombies. I think that the use in zombies is also quite good. I think that a lot of the Mardu decks really struggled with zombies throughout the weekend, but I think Declaration in Stone moving forward is a piece of technology that they should further adopt. I think that some of the more successful Mardu decks were doing it, and it looks good to me.
Yeah, because zombie decks are making so many 2/2 tokens, right, from cards.
Yes, exactly.
Dark Salvation, and especially Diagraph Colossus.
Well, and Crypt Breaker.
There's all the 2/2s are being made in this.
And they're all named zombie. And then what's more, it also provides a backup plan against Diagraph Colossus. It's not like that's who you want to hit. You want to hit the zombie tokens. But there's occasionally times where the Diagraph Colossus comes down and is such an imposing threat, both in terms of size being just so large, but also in terms of the implied presence if the opponent gets to untap.
Oh, yeah. Because the Diagraph Colossus, like, if he comes out as like a 5/5 or a 7/7, some huge guy, he's hard to kill. He's hard to kill fair. But if they untap with it, then they could just play 3 2/2s the next turn or something, right?
Yeah, and I think that the Declaration in Stone is both high ceiling and high floor. It does what you need. It punishes their best draws. It's reliable. It's just, I think it's a card that should be used a lot more actually in going forward.
I think even against like Teamer or Sultai Marvel, you can just like hold Declaration in Stone and like maybe hold a Plains, right? So
no, that's not going to stop Ulamog. I know what you're saying. They're still going to have a Marvel. You're going to have 2 land. No. They'll just Marvel again, man. I know, I get it. Your heart's in the right place because indestructible Declaration in Stone beats indestructible. That's not how it really goes.
I don't know. As a Marvel player, I've had an uncomfortable number of interactions with Anguished Unmaking over the months.
I can tell you though, the Declaration in Stone cleans up Thopters. It's nice to be able to hit the Thopters sometimes, and of course you will hit Ulamog sometimes. That can't be. It's not a trump the same way that it is against zombies. It's actively fantastic against zombies, whereas against Marvel, it's fine.
So one of the reasons that I thought that Liliana's Mastery would be so good as a 4 of, and in particular why I made this bold claim that I don't think Gerry's 75 is going to be the perfect 75 for Montreal, is it seems like Liliana's Mastery is is like a trump in the mirror, right? Because it's an asymmetrical like crusade token making thing, right? It generates bodies for you, but it's like your zombies are all bigger now, right? So if somebody has Liliana's mastery, you know, all other things held equal, they're in a huge advantage against the opponent. That seemed like that to me.
I will tell you, it does seem interesting to me. I'm trying to imagine playing Fennell's deck against another zombie deck. Obviously, the way the tournament broke, the zombie decks weren't really matched up early on, you know, but like, I don't know, man. Declaration in Stone is nice in the mirror.
Yeah, like, I agree. And not just that, I normally severely dislike Anguished Unmaking. I know we've always kind of diverged on this. You even played it in 3-color decks sometimes. But being able to get somebody's Liliana's Mastery during combat, because it's an instant that can get any kind of permanent, like, you could just cold their Crusade and then all of a sudden their blocks don't work anymore. That seems really strong.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know that it ever comes to that, because, yeah, it's not like the zombie matchup's all about blocking. But
I mean,
it could. It definitely can.
Often
it's going to come
just
up.
Be about rumbling.
It's going to come up some, but I just think that somebody's going to be snowballing an advantage, and it'll be more coming. I think the Declaration in Stone is like a incredible potential mirror breaker. I got to admit, I am kind of intrigued by Fennell's use of Declaration in Stone, and that has me pausing and kind of. I could be sold on Fennell's style. There's something here.
This zombie strategy versus other creature strategy is so compelling because they have like potentially the 8-pack of like kind of lords / crusades as well as just reasonable guys, right? Like Dread Wanderer is a heck of a 1-drop. It's a really good 1-drop.
Oh yeah.
So like you just all these good creatures, then all of a sudden they're just bigger than like if you're just gonna play like a red beatdown deck, right? Like you don't have any of this kind of crusade stuff going on, and your support cards are just not on the same level.
Yeah. Well, I do think that the reason to play zombies is the aggro matchups in general. I think that zombies, like the way that the conventional wisdom goes, is that zombies is ahead of Mardu, which is interesting because Temur is also ahead of Mardu, which makes it weird that the 3 decks are Temur, Marvel, and Zombies, because the way the tournament played out, it was like
Mardu and Zombies?
Temur, I guess Temur, Mardu, and Zombies. And the way the tournament played out, Mardu only really did well against decks that were not Zombies or Temur. More than half the field was Temur and Zombies. And there were mirror matches, so it wasn't a great tournament for Mardu. But that does also suggest that there's room for a little bit different of a balance in the future, because if the 3 most popular decks by far don't actually form a paper, rock, scissors, if it's literally just one deck and the 2 decks that beat it, I mean, there are decks that beat both Temur and Zombies, but what's interesting is that looking at the win percentages of the decks, even though Temur was incredibly popular, its win percentage was fantastic. It was the best. It was the best, and it was like really, really good. And Zombies was the only other deck with a winning record, and then just all other decks did poor. So like, Mardu, blue-red control, and green-black all just did a little below average, and then all rogue decks did horrible.
How was Sultai? Do you have any recollection? Is it also horrible?
Horrible. All rogue decks were horrible. And, which I don't know, that might be a gross generalization. But if memory serves, the only winning strategies really were, out of at least the major strategies, it seemed that a lot of the percentage was being eaten up by Zombies and Temur. But actually, on the note of black-green energy, what did you think of Ken Yukahiro's black-green energy with Bone Picker?
Yeah, I mean, that's I think exactly how I would describe it. It's a deck right out of the previous format in terms of main 60, except just adding Bone Picker, right? So this is a super straightforward energy-based aggro deck, 20 lands, 4 attuned with Aether, and then it's got, you know, the energy type stuff, Greenbelt Rampager, Long Tusk Cub, Winding Constrictor, Landsleeve Siphoner. I think this is a pretty good. No, I mean, good is the wrong adjective to use. I think it's a pretty straightforward deck. Seems like it can take on all different kinds of comers. The thing that's, I think, ultimately, the question is Bone Picker like way better than Verdurous Gearhulk? I mean,
getting to play only 20 land is interesting.
Yeah, I mean that's a plus. I mean,
it's also not just that, because there's also no tireless trackers in this deck.
Yeah, in the sideboard there are a couple.
Right, but I mean, playing with 18 2-drops. This is a very, very different distribution. It's all the normal suspects. It's just all of them.
Yeah. Well, the thing that's I mean, look, Ken Yukihira's done some serious damage as a deck designer in the past couple of years, so I assume he thought this out. But you're talking about a deck that has got 4 copies of Rishkar Pima Renegade. I mean, every time I lost to this kind of deck in tournament play, it's because they went like Rishkar into Verdurous Gearhulk with a big distribution, you know? And just losing that aspect seems like a big loss to me. But, you know, Bone Picker, you know, the Black Delver.
I don't know who Verdurous Gearhulk is good against right now, though. Like, what's one matchup where it's good?
I don't know. It seems like it'd be pretty good against zombies, right? Like, just get some presence.
Some presence?
Some presence.
You don't want to play an 8/8 on turn 5.
Well, why don't I just, like, distribute a whole bunch of power across multiple guys? The zombies deck isn't that good at killing creatures. It's like medium good.
Yeah, I know, but, like, think about how Verdurous Gearhulk lines up against Liliana's Mastery. Is that the game you want to play? Liliana's Mastery is so much better than Verdurous Gearhulk at Verdurous Gearhulking.
I can't argue with you there.
I think that Verdurous Gearhulk it's a messed up card in general, so maybe, you know, you could always use it. It can never be wrong by that much.
But I think that Verdurous Gearhulk is so good in a deck with this many Rishkars and Winding Constrictors.
No, but against what? You need a context. It's not good in the abstract. Like, if you're going to play against vintage decks, you wouldn't want Verdurous Gearhulk. You need a context. And in the format, there are very few strategies that people play. Verdurous Gearhulk isn't good against any of them. Do you want it against Mardu?
I'm thinking probably.
Is it against blue-red? Because it's like,
the blue-red might be its absolute worst, right? You might get censored.
It's not. Yeah, you don't want it there.
Yeah,
I don't think you actually want Verdurous Gearhulk against any of the decks that anybody plays, which is a sad indictment of the format, but also true.
I mean, it's just weird to me that just 2 sets removed from Verdurous Gearhulk's debut is this, you know, format warping card that it's now.
Well, no, it was just replaced by a different Verdurous Gearhulk. That niche in the metagame is just being serviced by Liliana's Mastery. Liliana's Mastery is like the zombie deck is the green-black deck. It's just that it's better. It does it with less colors.
It's the better green-black deck and the better Mardu deck.
The Mardu deck, I think, has chances of being in a different position. It's just that the Mardu deck is... I think the Mardu deck needs to evolve a little bit. I just think that it's unfortunate that somehow we're in a world where the turn 4 Ulamog deck is the slowest deck.
The thing I like about Ken's deck, obviously this isn't a new thing, right? But is that it's got these Hardikarans, 3 main deck, 1 in the sideboard. I do think it's just intuitive to me that if the zombie deck doesn't play cards, you know, that I guess some versions play cards that can grind you for a little life, but that Hardikiran is just a great tempo driving racing card against the zombie deck. It's hard for them to block. and they don't have an overabundance of removal for it. Especially if you're playing Ken's deck versus a Mardu deck, and you can bring in Blossoming Defense after sideboarding, right? Like, the zombie deck has precious few ways to interact with the Heart of Kiran, right? Like, approximately 6 main deck removal cards, some of which, depending on version, are just... It's just not a great use of your turn, even if it is good to get rid of a Heart of Kiran. If you can change, a Blossoming Defense, 1 mana and 2 damage for that turn, you're probably in a dramatically good position. And that is one thing about the Black-Green Energy deck and potentially the Mardu decks that I think are selling points for it.
Yeah, I don't know why the 4th Heart is in the sideboard. I like Heart of Kiran against both zombies and Marvel. I don't really like it against Mardu in this deck, and I don't really like it against Control. But I don't know. I think zombies and Marvel represent so much of the metagame that personally, I think I would just play the 4 Heart of Kiran's main deck.
If I might ask, why don't you like it against Mardu? It seems to me like in the Mardu mirror matches, Heart of Kiran is a pretty important card, so I was thinking maybe there's some transferable utility going into that matchup, Black-Green against Mardu.
I mean, it's not like it's that bad. It's just, I don't know, it's harder to actually attack with it. Like, it's harder to, they have cheap removal, they have ways to destroy your stuff, they have, they're better at they're a better Mardu deck. Their hearts are 5/5 sometimes.
Yeah.
They're the damage doesn't end up. It's in the Mardu mirror match. The person with Heart of Kiran is putting all this pressure on the other person's Gideon, but I think that the way the green-black plays out against Mardu, it doesn't go down the exact same way. Like, the Mardu deck has a lot of answers to Heart of Kiran, whereas and not only a lot of answers, but it just is putting down threats earlier because of the fact that it's playing good cards starting on turn 1 instead of turn 2. They're just, a beat ahead.
I agree, and I just, from the Mardu side, because I don't know how I managed to forget this so often when I'm playing against Mardu. They have a 4/4 flash creature that makes everything indestructible that also flies, right? I just, when you're playing against, blue-white spirits, I always remember that guy's there. But when I'm playing against Mardu, it's just like, and then it comes, you play 10 games, it comes up twice. I'm like, I didn't remember it in the 2 games that it came up. But that obviously matters, both in support of a Heart of Kiran and defending against a Heart of Kiran, right? To have a 4/4 indestructible flash creature.
So, what did you think of Yuya's teamer deck?
I think
one torrential Gearhulk.
That's the defining thing, right? He's got only 3.
That's the most Floresian. That's the most Floresian hedge that I have seen in some time. Is just 3 Ulamogs and a torrential Gearhulk instead of 4 Ulamogs.
We talk about the teamer Marvel decks as though they were one thing, but there's like a reasonable amount of variation going on in these decks, right? Like number of Rogue Refiners, number of Whirler Virtuosos. I mean, I think Yuya's 3+1 is the most atypical thing. Most people just don't play a 3+1. They typically play 4 Ulamogs. But what do you think about the actual spell selection? Like 3 Censor, 3 Dissenter's Deliverance. That is a very different, outlay than some of the other Marvel decks. For example, Ephro also played a teamer Aetherworks Marvel deck, and he has 4 Censor and no Deliverance. And he also played 1 more Whirler Virtuoso, etc.
Yeah, I mean, I like Censor in terms of playing with it and winning. 3 Dissenter's Deliverance is... I don't think I would play 3 Dissenter's Deliverance. That looks like it's a little bit of an anti-Mardu stance that I think I would be less inclined to do moving forward. Like, I think I would be... I don't think that you're going to want to be the person who has I mean, maybe you like it enough, but I don't think you really want Dissenter's Deliverance, like this in this deck against zombies, for instance, or against the mirror.
Against zombies. Just watching the coverage.
It's Metallic Mimic.
Great. If you compare it to Martin Mueller's deck, he had only Harness Lightning as his instant, right? There was just no Censor, no Dissenter's Deliverance.
Yeah, but the real standout component of Mueller's list, I mean, 4 Servant of the Conduit is not the craziest thing. It's not, not everybody does it, but that's not that weird.
I like Servant of the Conduit. He makes energy.
Yeah, but 4 Chandra Flamecaller.
That's what put him in the top 8. He had 5 cards left in his library. He ripped one and killed Huey on the spot. I don't even think none of his quote Marvel/Ulamog bombs would have won him the game there, and he just 6 hasted Huey to death. It takes it's a sweeper, right? It's a sweeper you can potentially hit off Marvel, and it's a really powerful plan B. You can just get getting to 10 mana to cast Ulamog is a tough time for a lot of these decks, right? If you don't have, the Bounty of the Luxa cards or the Nissa's Renewal cards, getting to 10 is tough. But getting to 6 is pretty approachable for most of them, right? So they have on the order of 22, 23 lands, plus 4 Tomb with Aether and a little, extra card drawing, maybe Servant of the Conduit. You can get to 6 and 2 hard. And that's just a legitimate plan B.
I love the look of this list. I would want to try this. I think the 4 Chandras looks... I really like the look of the 4 Chandras. I do want to note, though, that Harness Lightning isn't the only instant. There's also Aether Meltdown.
Oh, yeah, so an enchantment that acts like an instant, right? Because it has flash.
Right.
Yeah, I
don't know that I'm in love with the Aether Meltdown part. It might be fine. But I think that the 4 Chandras part is really exciting to me.
Yeah, I like his creature selection, too. So, unlike Huey's deck, unlike Yuya's deck, Mueller played 0 Torrential Gearhulks, but I guess that makes sense if you only have four actual instants in your main deck versus 14 plus in Ifro's deck and 16 in Yuya's deck.
Well, and part of it is also, remember that when you're playing Censor, you can play a little bit less mana.
That's well. The other thing about Censor, especially if you're talking about playing with Torrential Gearhulk, you can cycle the Censor, right? Even if it's your only instant in the graveyard, you can just get somebody.
Yep.
Glimmer of Genius seems a hard give up, though. The other two guys, Yuya and Ifro, both played Floor Glimmer of Genius, and Mueller had none.
Yeah, that's interesting to me.
Because that card is an energy producer as well as a fix my hand, draw cards, whatever you want to put on that card, it does it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what the answer is there. But
well, he also had 4 Rogue Refiner, 4 Whirler Virtuoso. In the Swiss against Calcano, I think he was just set up real well against zombies by having all those Whirler Virtuosos. He did a great job in transforming just available energy into just winning a race against a zombie deck that seemed like it was way ahead. And I think these decks have very similar building materials, right? And it's a question of, if I give you milk and sugar and wheat and peanuts, do you hand back a peanut butter sandwich, or do you hand back peanut butter cookies, right? You can make different
I have
things.
No idea what you're saying. Okay.
They have similar ingredients, right?
Dude, now I'm hungry.
Peanuts and wheat and sugar and milk makes both of those things.
Yeah, I guess. I was just thinking about peanuts.
I like peanuts.
Yeah, so what do you think about Tobiashi? I'm trying to recall the gentleman's name.
Mark Tobiach? His Marvel deck?
Yes.
So he had the other Chandra, right? The more, I don't know, is this the more conventional Chandra at 4 instead of 6?
Young Chandra.
Young Chandra? The thing that's little wackadoodle to me about Tobiash's deck is
wackadoodle. Nice.
Wackadoodle, yeah. You just add it to the bananas and say,
yeah, of course.
3 Woodweaver's Puzzle Knot is aggressive to me, very aggressive, counterbalanced by 1 Shielded Aether Thief, I guess.
I can't co-sign that.
What? How do you play 3 Woodweaver's Puzzle Knot? Like, that is literally the curve card. You're like, land, Woodweaver's Puzzle Knot, activate Marvel, go. That's the combo.
I don't know. I don't have a defense for that. Yeah, I play 4.
Agree.
Play 4.
Well, he's got 2 Incendiary Flows in his sideboard. I know that's a card that you like.
Oh, yeah. No, there's a lot to like here. I'm just saying play 4 Woodweaver's Puzzle Knot. But all that aside, he's got the Servant of the Conduits. It's funny how similar his list actually is to some of the others, just different parts of it. He's got like Ephros, 2 Magma Sprays. He's got Mueller's Love for Chandra. Different Chandra. But
different Chandra.
Chandra nonetheless. He's got the just 4+2 instants. He's,
I gotta say, I like this version the least. I'll tell you a couple reasons. One, again, I cannot co-sign 3 Woodweaver's Puzzle Knot. This makes no sense to me. I think I'd sooner play 61 cards. But he only has 21 lands. He has 21 lands, no censor. Like, that's low, I think.
Yeah. I would, yeah. I don't think I would play this version.
What do you think of...
Either way, it's it's fine and a great showing for him on the weekend.
What do you think about these main deck Magma Sprays in multiple versions of Marvel?
Oh, that's good. I think I could get into it. I mean, it's a question of tuning, but it definitely is slanted for the zombies metagame, and rightfully so. I think it's a totally fine because I think Magma Spray. It's actually passable in the mirror, right? And it's actively great against both zombies and Mardu. I would play Magma Spray main deck if I were playing Marvel.
So passable in the mirror because it nicks a Rogue Refiner or maybe a Servant?
Right. Yeah, you get something. You get your money. It's not the best thing in the world, but you can at least do something. Like, it's far from terrible.
Yeah, I guess if you have a stray mana, it's all right. I mean, I'm certainly not excited to do it in the mirror. I mean, if you're getting
no, but it's not bad. It's not actively. Of course, it's obviously it's the best card against zombies and Mardu. It's so good, but like, you don't want to draw too much of that kind of stuff because like you got to focus on your engine. But I think that the fact that it's so amazing in 2 of the most popular matchups and serviceable in the mirror, I wouldn't want to draw 2 in the mirror. But it's serviceable. It's definitely at least serviceable, right?
Yeah. I mean, I getting your servant killed is super annoying sometimes.
Right.
I don't like that happening to me. So we have a Pro Tour top 8. It's down. Some heroes did well. Good friend and hero to writers, content producers, and tournament aspirants all put together was the winner. What do you think going forward, Patrick? What's your pick for deck to play this coming week? Because that's really the interesting question. If you had to run a big standard event this weekend, where'd you go with it?
I mean, I personally would play blue-red. I would play blue-red control. The metagame is exactly the way that it looked before the tournament. Like, I don't think anything's changed.
Blue-red control is a solid matchup with Marvel. I want to find a better plan there. At the tournament itself, I think that blue-red control went 8-14 against Team Marvel. But it's also confusing because I don't know what other people's records were. Yep.
I know that I know that I would want to spend more time figuring out the right way to approach that. I think that the most surprising twist is that the format really is as obvious as it looked before the tournament. There was no real big surprises, but maybe we just haven't found them yet. I don't know. I don't know. I know that the Marvel strategies and zombie strategies they both overperformed. So in terms of recommending for other people, not speaking to myself, but just for recommending to other people, I would recommend to other people Zombies and Mardu. I mean, not Mardu, sorry, Zombies and Teamer. But honestly, you should just play a deck that you're familiar with. I think this format there's not really, I don't know how much space there is for fancy maneuvering. There might be. Maybe this is just like it's like a very satisfying pistachio to crack, and that it's just going to take a little bit of effort. I would not play any of the various green-black decks. I would not play green-black Energy. I would not play green-black Delirium. I would not play green-black Constrictor decks. I wouldn't play green-black Splash Blue or green-black Splash White. I wouldn't play the Cryptolith Rights green-black decks. I would stay the hell away from green-black if I was you. Blue-red, I would only do blue-red if you're a glutton for punishment. Which
you are, apparently.
Which I am, yes. I do think that it's not... I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's like almost exactly expectation. It's almost exact. It's like, very comparable to Mardu. I think that both Mardu and Blue-Red you should only play if you just really want to play that type of strategy. I don't like Spellqueller decks. I don't like rogue decks like, some kind of like red-black aggro deck or green-white tokens deck or Engulf the Shores or any of that kind of stuff, or New Perspectives. I don't like any of that stuff. But I think I would just I would play some kind of soulless Teamer Aetherworks deck if all I wanted to do was maximize my chances of winning. I think that Teamer Aetherworks will age better than Zombies. Let's put it that way. I think that the rest of the format will figure out how to improve their zombie matchups more easily than they will figure out how to improve their Teamer matchups. So, my recommendation would be to play Teamer.
All right. Teamer for this week it is then.
Plus, it'd be nice for some people, it'd just be nice to play Teamer while you can.
Oh! Pro Tour bannings. I forgot. We have those now.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Who knows?
Anyone interested in like 4 Ulamogs and 4 Marvels? I own some.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I think that the whole state of the whole band thing is in a kind of a funny, weird place. That's a story for another day. Happy to dive into that next week.
All right. Well, let's sign off. I'm Michael J. Flores.
I'm Patrick Chapin.
We are Top Level Podcast. Thanks for listening.
True.
We're Top Level Podcast on Instagram, on Facebook, Twitter, on our website, toplevelpodcast.com. Find us anywhere. Find us on Patreon, Top Level Podcast. Just want to say thank you and shout out to Christopher Gonzalez. Thank you, Christopher.
Yes, definitely. And, major thanks.
Yep, and thanks to everybody who's
pleasure to be here.
Supporting us on Patreon, or just everybody who's listening. We really appreciate it.
It's been a true pleasure, and looking forward to many more.
All right, bye-bye.
See you next week.
Life didn't work so great. Tried to play dredge, it's a jailer hate. Ghostly prison waiting for my untapped phase. Your core trapped in amber stasis.